Okay, so to set up the eyes, okay, so all the animation for the eyes. Okay, now a lot of you, first of all, have not the problem, but the situation that your eyes have a lattice link to it. Okay, now if you have lost the link to your lattice, the easiest way to do it is to rebuild your eyes. Okay, if you still have your lattice, that's a good start. Okay, so for instance, my eyes have been frozen a long time ago. So I need to basically go and remodel them, which is fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's two spheres. And then we need to go and set it up so that when we move our look at control, which you also need to build now, that the lattice stays in place and the sphere rotates within the lattice, keeping its shape but still rotates. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I still have my lattice, and I have where my eyes should be, so the center points for my eyes. But what I'm going to do is pretty much rebuild them. Okay, so I'm going to hide all of these for now. Before I do that, I'm going to select my main eyeball, or one of them. Okay, I'm going to say Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, so my 3D cursor is where my eye needs to be. Okay, then to rebuild them, what I'm going to do is make a new, just have this on standby. Okay, say add a new sphere. Okay, I'm going to scale it down a lot. Okay, until it's more or less the same size as my original sphere. And I know it's going to be more or less the same size because I don't think I squashed the lattice at all. So I can scale it up until it reaches just the points of the lattice. Otherwise, we can make sure that it's the same size just now. Okay, I'm going to do that. I think there are more than enough vertices on it. Set it to smooth shading. Let's just leave it like that for now. I'm going to rotate it forward, holding control so that it's looking 90 degrees. Okay, and that should be more or less where my eye should be. Okay, for the other one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select that one. So select it, Shift S, cursor to selected. That I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, just move it wherever, and then Shift S, selection to cursor. Okay, so that way I've now got two spheres. Okay, which is a start. Okay, I'm going to hide my old eyeballs. I just want to see more or less how big the iris needs to be, and it looks like it's about 2 edge loops. Okay, so it's about there that my iris needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to leave these here just so that I can make sure that everything looks more or less the same for now. Let me just go and hide that one so I can leave my old one. Okay, actually, I'm going to delete that one again. I just want to go and model the rest of this. Okay, so that is my main eyeball. Okay, so if I duplicate it and then scale it down just a tiny bit so it's inside the other one. Okay, all of these, I'm just going to rename them as I go so that I know what it is. So this is my left eyeball. Okay, that means this on the outside is my left eye lens. Okay, so now I know at least what's what. Okay, my old ones I can hide for now. Okay, so those are just my two new ones. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on smooth shading. I want to isolate this one quickly. We'll just use this one. Go into edit mode, side view, and just scale in the iris, which is basically all of those. So I'm just going to do that, I think. Oh, wait. Nope, not that. That. Okay. I'm going to shift right click more or less over there so that I can put my cursor there and then say scale from there so I can get it just more or less inverted. Okay, I'm also just going to move it back a tiny bit because I see it didn't quite go where it should have. Okay, I'm going to add an extra loop in over there just to keep that nice and sharp and tap out of that, put it back into smooth. Okay, these ultimately we will put a subsurface modifier on as well just to keep it nice and smooth, but that's more or less what we're going to need to do. Okay, so that's there. Our eye lens then obviously goes on top of that. which it seems to be doing quite nicely. We can also add a subdivision surface to that. Okay, if it shrinks, we just need to go and scale this one down a little bit from not there, but there. Okay, so that is the geometry of my eyeballs. Okay, now what we need obviously is we need a you see, I lost my other eyeball center point, but leaving it. Okay, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, what we need is now, I don't know if you can put a mirror modifier on a lattice. No, you can't. Okay, which sucks a little, because that means we need to remake our lattice for the other eye, I think. Okay, anyway, so the idea behind this is, as you guys probably remember, is on each of these we need to put a lattice. As I said, this is still entirely hypothetical, okay, on both, okay, lattice, okay, put that on top there, so that when we go and rotate our eyeball eventually, let me just put the wireframe on so you can see, when we rotate it, that the lattice stays behind and our eyeball rotates within the lattice. Okay, so that lattice deformer stays active forever. Okay, you should lock it actually. Okay, so that's what we need to do for both. Okay, so now what we can do is, first of all, we can go and duplicate. Let me see. Shift C to put our cursor back to the center. Okay, now both of these we need to go and duplicate, so I'm going to select that one and that one. Okay, and again I'm going to do my rotator or scale around the pivot trick. Okay, so Shift D to duplicate, scale X -1. Okay, so now I can see obviously my lattice hasn't copied over onto these. However, they do still have their own lattice modifier. And what I'm going to do is the same thing with the lattice. So I think, I'm not sure if this is actually going to work, because scaling a lattice sounds like scaling it negatively sounds like a bad idea, but maybe it works. Let's see. So Shift D, scale X -1. Okay, so that is now lattice 0, 1, and just maybe this will work. It should actually. Why won't it? Yay! Okay, perfect. Okay, so there we have both our lattices, latte, whatever. How do you rotate things? Active element, rotate, and that all seems to work fine. Perfect. Okay, so now we can also just go and rename these, so that's not left, that's right. Okay, right over there, and right there. Okay, so if I go and hide lenses, okay, there we have those. Okay, which is pretty cool. What we can also do, if you haven't unwrapped them yet, okay, just to remind you how to do that, what you can quite easily do is, for each of them, you can also do this before you duplicate it. It's probably a good idea. If you just turn the lattice off, go into your front view in orthographic, then go into edit mode, select everything, go down to shading and UVs, say unwrap and say project from view. Okay, that will then give you a unwrap of that object, okay, which you can then scale up and move around or whatever. Okay, so just in case you haven't unwrapped them, that's what you can do. Okay, turn that back on. Okay, so now with that done, okay, we need to go and set up the bones so that these actually look around, okay, which is surprisingly simple, and I'm actually worried that it's not too simple and it's going to break later, but let's just hope it works. Okay, anyway, so select our first eyeball, okay, Shift S, cursor to selected, so that we know our cursor is in the center. Okay, now in your scenes, I'm doing this in a separate scene that doesn't actually have an armature for the face. Well, it does, it only has the eye control. But what you need to do is go into your armature, okay, so select it, which I only have the one bone, which is that one. Okay, go into edit mode, okay, and in edit mode, press Shift A, which will give you a new bone wherever your 3D cursor is. Okay, so it should then snap to the center of your eye. Okay, and then what you need to do is in your side view. Okay, I think you can just firstly scale that down and scale it down on median point. Scale it down on the 3D cursor. Okay, so first of all, get it just a bit smaller, just a bit more manageable. And then what should work is if we just grab that and move it forward. Okay, that's what the guy in the video did. But to get it the same height, okay, that is a Z position. So I'm guessing that that needs to be the same as that. Okay, so the head is the little one in the front, the tail is one in the back. So if I copy that into there, they should be perfectly the same height. Okay, so we need this to be straight. Okay, first of all. Okay, once we've done that, okay, I'm going to call this is in my armature, I'm going to call this left eye root. Well, let's just call it left eye for now. Okay, I'm going to Shift D it and press enter and just move that forward. Okay, so now we have two of them. Okay, forward, and this is going to be left eye look at. Okay, and this is where it becomes strictly hypothetical. Because I don't know if this is supposed to work or not. Okay, so there we have two bones. Now, to get the one to look at the other, okay, remember, what we can do just now is just set up different nicer controls for these. Okay, but to get that to follow that, I think you need to go select that one, shift select that one. What have I done? I pressed Control I. I don't know if that's correct or not. No, not that. Maybe it's in pose mode. I think it's in pose mode. It's a constraint, so it should be. Select that one, shift select that one, Control I. What you need is a IK constraint. Inverse kinematic. Let's do it on just that one. Inverse kinematics. Okay. Target. You do need a pole target. I was right. Sorry. Bone is your look at. Okay. So now what should happen is if we move this around, you see that looks at it. Okay, which is good. Okay. Okay, so that's step one. The pole target's very important because if you don't have a pole target, your eye is going to start rolling over. Okay. So the more you look around, your eyes are either going to start slanting that way, okay, which is going to be weird, or they're going to start spinning. So I'm going to select the bone, my eye bone. Again, in my side view, I'm going to say Shift D and just drag it up. Oh, sorry, no, don't do that. In your edit mode. Okay, in edit mode, select that, Shift D, drag it up. Okay, and this I'm going to call left eye pole target, PT. Okay, so that should then, if we go back to, okay, that one, because it's now in pose mode, also has that on, which we don't want. Okay, what we do want is that to have the pole target be the armature left eye PT. Okay, which should mean that it's just not going to break later. Okay, so now if we wiggle this around on whatever, okay, you can see our bone looks at this the whole time. Okay, so that is step one. Okay, what I'm going to do is also just symmetrize all these, or not symmetrize, duplicate these bones. Okay, so in here, let's just do it in there. Okay, so I've got all of those selected in edit mode. Okay, I'm going to say Shift C, move my center back to the middle. Okay, now that magic combo, if we want to symmetrize bones, Shift D, SX -1. Nope. Remember, you need to be, don't delete them. It's a bad idea. You need to be on 3D cursor. Okay, so Shift D, SX -1. Okay, and then armature flip names. Okay, so now we should have the same thing on this side. It should also Okay, seems we need to go and set up the, oh, we're not in pose mode. Pose mode, you, didn't take the constraints for some reason, so we just need to set that up again. Inverse kinematics, target is armature right eye look at, pole target is armature pole target. Okay, so now with these together, if we move them around, how did those constraints disappear as well? It's weird. Shouldn't have happened. Told you this was too good to be true. Left eye look at, left eye pole target. Okay, so if we select both these, getting super skeptical now. Okay, there we go. So now they're both looking in wherever that should be. Okay, so ideally it's going to be a little bit annoying to do that each time. Okay, so if we go back into edit mode, okay, I'm going to duplicate one of these and drag it back there, and then I'm just going to go and set both of the x's to 0. Okay, and that's going to be my main look at, so I'm going to rename that to just look at. Okay, both of, let's also just scale it up while we're there. Okay, both of these, so that one, do you parent things in edit mode or in pose mode? Okay, select that one, select that one, select that one, Control P, keep offset. Okay, and then back in pose mode, should work. Okay, so there, that is our basic eye rig. Okay, it also allows us to move individual eyes on their own if you need to do some weird stuff. Okay, but that is basically it. Okay, now all of this, we need to go, next week what we'll do is we'll parent the whole eye rig to the, or join it to the armature of the body. Okay, so don't worry about it yet. So now when you move your armature's proper head around, it's going to break. Okay, but now that works. Now all we need to do is parent our eyeballs, which are you. Okay, select those, that. I don't know if that's going to work, but let's see. Control P, keep transform, question mark. I've never parented stuff to bones before, so I don't actually know how to do it. Oh, sorry. There's an option for it. Where are these? Okay, so let's just do that one down to that one. Okay, so our eye lens is now the parent, and our eyeball is inside. And then that one to that one. Control P, bone. Select you in pose mode. Yay! Okay, so there you can see that that actually works. You. Okay, so you can see our eyes looking around. It's all staying inside the actual eyelid because of our lattice. And the same on this side. So you going to you, Control P, keep transform, you parent to you, Control P, bone. Don't know what bone relative means. Anyway, that basically is good enough. Okay, now what we can also do, and again this is strictly hypothetical, is we need to add an extra bone to envelope the eyelids to, which follows the rotations of this a little bit. Okay, so if we go and select that and say Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, go back into edit mode. Okay, say Shift A, it's going to build a giant one, okay, which we can, okay, this is also, as I said, I have no idea if this is going to work. It should, but I have no idea how to do it. Okay, just scale it down. Let's go over here. Let's put you just over there and make your, well, that was accurate. Okay, now the idea is that in just want to call this left eye follow or envelope. Okay, okay, pose mode. I just want to isolate this for now. Okay, so that bone over there, pose. Okay, whatever. It should work. All of these, we can just go and set these to be, it's already on X-ray. Weird. If we select that little bone and give it a new constraint, and I think it is one of these. Track 2, clamp 2, what do you think it is? Not the track. Clamp 2. Clamp 2 sounds fair. Clamp 2, and then we go, no, it's not that. Track 2. Left eye. Okay, even if it does that, 2 y, that worked. Okay, now ideally what we want is, if that's there, we want to be able to select this, and then that should follow. Okay, so if it moves, do you think that's only going to move the rotation of it? Head or tail? Head or tail? Tail? Okay. Well, if we don't get it now, we can always add it. What's that? It's an extra one. It's weird. Okay, well, there should be a constraint which allows it just to follow the animation of that a little. Otherwise, we can set it up with the script, but don't worry about it now. There's only 12 minutes left. All that we can then still do, if we can't figure that out yet, which we may later, check the video, maybe it's in the video, is we can quickly go and just in object mode, we can just set up nicer controls, or just display objects for those. So, for instance, go just to pose mode, select that one, cursor to selected, and then go add a circle. To add, yeah, circle. Okay. That's still not in the right place, but anyway. Align to view. Okay, whatever. Okay, you can make it whatever shape you want. Just so that it's a just a nicer object. Normally I make like a cube and then circles for the others. So that we can call that FC look at. Okay, so in pose mode, select that, go to bone, go down to display, and say FC look at. Like that, which is weird. So then there in pose mode, and select everything, and rotate it from the 3D cursor. Just rotate it so that the other one is weird. Okay, so something like that should be fine. All of these, you can delete them when you're done, but I tend not to. And then like circles for those. Anyway, that's in pose mode, Alt-G. Okay, Okay, so that is literally as good as it gets. We would then at some point just figure out how to go and, oh, that little bone was my eyelid thingy. You guys. Okay, medium point. Okay, and that would be enough to move our eyelids around. I know it looks like it's sticking through, but it actually isn't. For these bones, you could even just hide them. Okay, we'll figure look at the enveloping of the eyelids as well sometime, so don't worry too much about that just yet. We'll figure that out. And that is it. Okay. Who has done their sketches? Okay, those of you who have, take them out. I just quickly want to look at those. Has anyone got audio here? A sound clip that they intend to use? Anyone remember about that? Okay, it is for next week, okay? But please bring at least 3 options, okay, for next week. Just in case the one that you have chosen is horrible, which is possible. So we can just have a listen to that next week. Next week we need to go and stick our rigs onto our body rigs, okay? So just merge the 2 armatures together. Make sure everything's working fine, which it should. And then we need to start planning our animation. Okay, and also do our test animation for the face rig. Cool, any questions? Okay, for those of you who have your sketches, I just quickly want to come around and have a look. Yeah. Wow. What a busy class.